it's not a bad night tonight, actually, Colin. It's quite warm, a little warmer than we did expect. The teams are out, ready to go, so let's have a look at the way the teams are lining up tonight. First of all, Aston Villa, and he's in, as we expected. Gareth Barry does play tonight, but no John Carew, out with a slight calf injury.
I'd expect them to play a 4-4-2 formation with Rio Coke a little bit wider on the right, protecting the right-back position where Gardner is playing. FH
Hafnarfjo are, as expected, very nearly unpronounceable. Key man for them, the number 9, Tryggvi Gudmundsson, 42 Icelandic caps to his name.
Yeah, they're looking to play a 4-3-2-1 formation, which will pack midfield, and Villa just have to be careful that they don't get outnumbered in that part of the pitch.
So here we go, another season of UEFA Cup football kicks off here on 5 for Aston Villa. More tentative footsteps into their European campaign. And it is the home side who get us underway. It's a tiny stadium here. It holds capacity 10,000, not quite that many in here tonight, but the home fans have been making a lot of noise in the build-up to this game. Let's hope they can keep the tempo and atmosphere throughout as well, and an early attack for them to cheer too. It's Gudmundsson on that right-hand side, just held up for a second or two, and eventually defenders are back there in numbers to ensure that it is steered away for a throw-in. So a bright, positive start by the home team. We'll get to the small matter of their name in just a few moments, as the ball is eventually out for an Aston Villa throw-in. Well, they're known, as Graham will tell you, as FH Hafnarfjo. In English, that means the Sporting Association of the Harbour Fjord, and thankfully for us, even the locals call them FH, which is a lot easier, isn't it, Graham?
I think FH will do for me, there's no doubt about that, but it's an important game for Aston Villa because Martin O'Neill, their manager, this is part and parcel of him coming here. He wants them to be playing regularly in European football, and so to get through to the UEFA Cup is very, very important for Villa.
And Gareth Barry playing tonight, of course. All kinds of rumours, speculation, reports about whether he would be here or whether he would be away. That's offside against Akbon Lahore as he chases, but he does play tonight. What does that tell you? Does that tell you he's staying at Aston Villa?
Well, I would think that it would. I mean, even now, if he were to move to Liverpool, he wouldn't be able to play for them in any European football until February. So it looks at the present time as if that deal may not be on.
Well, we'll still keep a watching brief on that, and news also if you are just switching on, which we told you briefly before the kick-off. John Carew not playing tonight because of a slight calf injury, and he is expected to be fit and ready for the Premier League start on Sunday against Manchester City at Villa Park. So no real concerns, but it does mean a rare start for Marlon Harewood, who made most of his impressions off the bench last season. Here is Barry, but the referee has already blown his whistle. He's from the Czech Republic tonight, Radek Macek, the referee, who will keep us in charge of things. And a free kick for the home team, who look relatively bright at the start of this game, Graham.
I think they'll be looking, they've looked to ask to play the home game first. I mean, they felt that if they lost rather heavily in the game at Villa Park, then next to no one would be here. So, they'll be looking to take full advantage of their home start.
It's an attempted header by Akbon Lahore, and Ashley Young will collect here on this left-hand side. There's a slip by the defender too, and Young makes him twist and turn again, and eventually does win the corner. Wiedersen with a header out to give Aston Villa a real attacking opportunity here.
Well, Ashley Young last season being named in the Premier League side, an excellent season, and if they get more of that and improves, it will help Villa no end.
Shorey and Young again with the delivery into a box that was somewhat confused, and Gareth Barry has touched it home. I don't think he could hardly believe his luck. Well, it's hands on heads time for the home team. Martin O'Neill has to have a second peer, but the man who's been in the news is now making the news. Aston Villa with a very good lead.
It's ironic, isn't it? I mean, it's not a tremendous cross by Ashley Young. Some very poor defending, the ball bounces about, and Gareth Barry just toe-poked it in. It's 1-0 to Villa.
My word, my word. How many white shirts were there? How many chances did they have to clear that before Gareth Barry eventually touched it in? It was almost an apologetic touch, wasn't it?
It wasn't as if they'd opened anything. It was just a question, wasn't it, of so many people that you could almost say too many there, and none of them were really taking a positive action.
Well, much more defending like that, and the noisy bunch to our left, I'm sure, will be hitting the silence button before long. And now the home team and how have to somehow regather themselves, having come into this game. Their coach, Helmer Gudjonsson, who's only recently taken over, was saying yesterday that if they do play the game of their lives tonight, they might have a chance. That's the difference between the two teams. And now they have an opportunity to attack again. A little flick by Sverrisson. And Villa will claim that as their throw, and they do get it too.
I think if they were to continue to defend, and they'll look very uncertain FH now, then all that Villa have to do is to maintain a tempo to their game, and undoubtedly they'll give them problems.
Well, the perfect start. Aston Villa were certainly a little generous in allowing that switch, which Graham mentioned a while ago. The original plan when the balls came out of the hat was that this would be a home tie for Villa first up, but the home side asked for the switch, and Villa let them have the switch. Was that being over-generous, do you think? Or does Martin O'Neill think that they can put them away tonight?
I thought that Villa would be quite pleased with that, to tell you the truth. You know, the second leg at home, a lot of people playing in European competition, a lot of clubs always want that.
Here's Friedel with a clearance. Valgaardsen, the left back, only 19 years of age, will take control. And now Sverrisson. There's a little look up and chips it. It's being chased by Wilhelmsson, but is easily covered by Gardner. Valgaardsen doesn't really gather it under control, and Villa again are given cheap possession here. Here's Barry. Ashley Young once more, the tormentor-in-chief just a few moments ago, will try himself to go for goal. It's a terrific strike. They might be scoring for fun tonight, Aston Villa. They've certainly started at a riotous level, and 2 goals will have impressed the England manager as Aston Villa lead by 2-0.
Well, I mean, this looked like it could just simply be a rollover, and Aston Villa really 2-0 up already. Some good skill by Ashley, and whoever you're playing against anyhow, you don't take any credit away from him, even though the fullback was beaten easily there. But it's a good little bit of skill. Goalkeeper gets a little touch to it onto the post, and it puts them 2-0 up.
Well, the goalkeeper, Gunnar Sigurdsson, is 34 years of age today. Happy birthday. He's conceded twice in the opening few moments. Little tangle in midfield, which allows Gudnarsson to nip in, but not long before Gareth Barry is back in control, and he has been fouled.
Just as he's being fouled there, you look at the FH back four, and they're all over the place. They're trying to talk to one another. The full-backs come in too tight sometimes, other times they're staying out too wide. And there's holes galore in their back four for Villa to exploit.
Tommy Nielsen was a man whose name was taken there, the central defender. These are worrying times for that particular bench, who maybe already are wondering just how many goals they might concede here tonight. Ashley Young has been heavily involved thus far, and will chip forward again where Lawson is waiting. It's a dangled foot by Nielsen to half clear away. Here comes Barry with a header back, and somehow scrambled out this time by Sverrisson. There's not going to be an awful lot for Brad Friedel to do tonight, I don't think.
You wouldn't think so, would you? You know, very experienced keeper, very capable keeper. I think it's a very good signing by Martin.
Now, these are one of the strongest teams in Iceland. This is one of the strongest teams in Iceland, FH. They are champions 3 years in succession, 2004, 2005, and then again in 2006. They finished second last year, but very much a summer season, of course, in Iceland for obvious reasons, and they're very nearly going to be crowned champions again here. They lead the league with only 3 games remaining. Here's Agbon Lahore. A crack from Petrov, who might get the second attempt. Young, no Shorey. And Ashley Young has been left to his own devices again here. An awful lot of space for him to run into. Eriksson just tries to shepherd the play and does well the right back to make sure it's a goal kick.
Yeah, this time he wasn't kicked at all by that pullback, which Young is so dangerous that, you know, he runs at you, as you'll see, with the ball on his right foot here. So as a fullback, you don't know which way he's going to go, and he is capable of using that left foot when he checks it back across the face of you.
He's a carpenter as well, Gunnar Sigurdsson. They are all part-time professionals, this Icelandic side. Most of them teachers and workers with the local council to encourage youngsters to get involved in sport. And it is very much part-time triers against Premier League stars so far. Now, big fans here of the Premier League. They do watch an awful lot of English football, and you tend to find that most Icelandic football supporters have two English teams. They support one of the bigger clubs, Liverpool, Manchester United, Arsenal, and they always have a second team as well. So you ask the locals who they support, and they'll say Arsenal and Stoke, for example, or Arsenal and Bolton Wanderers.
Well, the cab driver coming in from the station, his two are West Ham and Manchester United, he told me. So not too bad. He said, I said, what do you do when they play against one another? He said, I always support the team that needs the points the most. So I said, well, it's West Ham then.
It's a good way of looking at things. You can never lose, can you, if you support both sides that are playing. Here's Gudnason making a rare break inside the Villa half. Vidarsson again all too easily dispossessed. It's Gardner down the right and Agbon Lahore. Free kick. Makeshift right back at the moment, isn't he, Craig Gardner? I think he'd prefer to play further up front, but yes, he's done a decent job for Villa last season and the start of this, hasn't he?
No doubt about it, when he has come, he has done that. But I think with Rio Coker, every now and again, Gardner will go forward and Rio Coker will stay in there at right back for him.
Here's Eiríksson, a lawyer by trade. Now Vidarsson hoists it up there. Easily away. This is Barry. Now Rio Coker. Barry's offering himself in support. The longer ball was attempted, which allowed Valgardsson to intercept and maybe set the locals on their way. Vidarsson out wide. It's Gudmundsson here now, an Icelandic international. Little chip in, dangerous looking too for a moment till Curtis Davies got there with a nice languid header clear. This is Barry. Agbon Lahore. Villa building nicely again here. Long ball for Harewood to chase. Should be covered by Sim. And he and Valgardsson do the business. Although the goalkeeper's put his left back under a little bit of pressure and a rather needless throw-in given away.
Yeah, the one thing that they've always got an outlet ball, Villa have, if they need it, into Harewood, if he's prepared to show in the channels. But at the present time, I think what is important for them is they keep the ball moving very quickly. It will make the game easier for them. Once they slow down the pace of the ball, surprising how hard it becomes.
Agbon Lahore on the turn with a volley, but never really got too much power on it, which made it a simple take by Sigurdsson. Don't forget, you can get in touch with us tonight if you so wish. More of that in just a moment, because Barry is threatening here for Villa. One or two boos, not sure whether they're coming from the Villa fans or the home supporters here tonight, but anyway, it is out of play and will be a throw. So if you want to get in touch with us, it's the usual number, 80088. Text the word comments, your name, your views and where you're from. Don't forget that the Taylor twins are with us tonight. Graham alongside me, Ian Taylor back in the studio. So if you have any particular comments for those two, feel free to ask. Maybe you want to talk about the Gareth Barry situation too, or any one of a number of players that Aston Villa are currently linked with in terms of bringing in at the moment. As Lawson tidies up and sends it back to Friedel. Vidarsson. This is Sim. Rather sliced and high. One in the air by Curtis Davies, but collected by Valgardsson. Lawson with a header. Gardner with a clearance. Barry went up, and I think he used the arm he did. So it is a free kick, which they tried to take quickly. Barry was in the way, but the referee says, well, it's your own fault for taking it too quickly. There's Davies, and the long clearance that does go out for a throw.
I mean, if anybody is surprised to see Curtis Davies playing today after that, injury, he's come back so quickly, much quicker than I think anybody expected him to do. It was Achilles tendon tear that he had, and you'd expect to be out longer, so he's done extremely well, and this will be a good game to test him.
It was March, wasn't it, when he got that injury towards the back end of last season. Here's a testing moment, flicked in by Gudmundsson. Little stumble by Rio Coker, but he has regained it. Friedel's going to give himself a job to do here, just to keep his concentration. That's the reason why. That was the free kick. Here's Shorey. Lawson. Barry does well to challenge, but can't quite win possession. Here's Sverrisson instead. And now Valgardsson. Another of their sprinkling of internationals. He played against the Faroe Islands last year for Iceland at the left-back Valgardsson. Tony Nielsen, whose previous claim to fame before tonight was scoring a goal against Dunfermline, and I'm sure Dunfermline fans will twist in their seats at the memory of their exit in the UEFA Cup 3 or 4 years ago against this outfit. Tony Nielsen was a late scorer. Eriksson. Harewood, with a sudden dash, will pick up possession and finds he has support from Rio Coker. Cannot pick a way through. Gudmundsson. Lawson does well. Rio Coker does well just to ride the challenge there. I'll tell you what, the locals are still in good spirits, aren't they? They've got their own musical instruments here tonight and keeping the atmosphere alive despite those 2 very early goals. If you are just switching on, you're looking at the scoreline and wondering how on earth Aston Villa had managed to get the lead so early. Gareth Barry in the opening goal, and then Ashley Young with the second. And some pretty poor defending in both cases, certainly the first.
FH have just come into it a little bit more, but they do give the ball away so cheaply on occasions that you always feel there's going to be further opportunities for Aston Villa.
You're going to have to try the name at some point tonight, Graham, you know, just so you can tell the wife where you've been. Feeling like FH Hafnarfjo, apparently.
I wouldn't want to say that to the wife, she might misunderstand me.
When the locals pronounce it, I swear there are noises and sounds in there that I have never heard before. And apologies to any Icelandic listeners tonight who are cringing at our attempts to pronounce that name at times. It is a real tongue twister. This is Harewood. Now Barry, has he kept onside Agbonlahor? No, he hasn't. Flags up.
I will say, Dave, you know, Gareth Barry's been very much involved, hasn't he? You know, there's a lot of players come round him, come through him. He is important to the team. Martin O'Neill has made that very, very clear. And although there's been all of these problems just recently, there's no doubt about it. He's, you know, come out and he's trying to, I think he's trying to make the point that if he plays for Aston Villa, stays at Aston Villa, he'll be as committed as he ever was.
Well, we've seen Mr. Capello here tonight as well, the current England manager, who's no doubt made this trip, so he can take a close look at Gareth Barry and try and work out where his head is. Aston Villa, meanwhile, are breaking through again. Here is Agbonlahor, already leading by 2. Might this be a third? Not just for the moment, because Nielsen's done well to slide it out for a corner.
Yeah, he needed, Agbonlahor needed to go up quicker at the defender. He'd got the break on it, and once he slowed it down and stood on the ball, it gave an opportunity for people to come back, and although he's won a corner, I think, you know, he could have been done a little bit better there, a little bit sharper.
2 early goals is not always a good thing either, is it? Because a team can switch off and maybe get over fanciful at times.
That's right. As I said, you know, you start to have an extra touch when it's not necessary, and there was an example.
It's a direct hit by Young, half cleared away towards Shorey. This is Young again. Referee says play on. Maybe a little advantage played there too. Shorey, a little tangled up, and Gudnarsson is making the most of it. Well, if only he'd had a little better support than that. Two in the box, didn't seem fully committed, but Aston Villa giving a little bit of a let-off there.
Yeah, he could have done with looking up and seeing what was available, and instead of just playing it, he could have picked out one of the players. Chose not to do.
Here's Gudmundsson. I suspect the Icelandic supporters in here tonight have already given up the tie, really, and they will cheer any chance that their local heroes might produce, in the knowledge that they're not going to win the game all the time necessarily, but some little encouragement is all they require. Hit forward by Vidas. Gardner, having made the initial interception, was there to tidy things up too. Here's Davis. Harewood. Throws down and cut out by Dennis Sim.
If this keeps on, David, it'll be very interesting come half-time how many changes Martin makes, bearing in mind the game against Manchester City on Sunday.
Gardner, who's going to take this. 25 appearances last year, so he was very much a regular. Now Shorey. Gardner's cross, a little flick by Harewood, but not meaningful enough, and cleared by the defence. Here's Gudmundsson, threatening again here. And again, the final ball is an easy pick-up for Brad Friedel. So they're keeping it interesting, aren't they?
Yeah, I mean, there's an improvement. I think that Villa have just taken their foot off the pedal a little bit. They're not keeping the ball so well themselves. And, you know, for me, they're having too many touches. We've got an example of it here with Agbonlahor. You've got to keep the ball moving quickly. That'll do the damage.
Here's Petrov. Just maybe having a sniff of something here, but decides to roll it up. Harewood with a layoff. As well to regather his feet, and maybe a hack from behind on Sverrisson. It is, and it will be a free kick. If you're wondering why, by the way, why Nicky Shorey is playing tonight and Luke Young and Carlos Cuellar aren't, all of them signed after the deadline for this particular round. But UEFA do allow you to register one new player for this round. So given that Nicky Shorey is a left-back and we needed some cover in the absence of Wilfried Boomer, Aston Villa registered him. And Quellar's here tonight, as is Luke Young. And they will be available for the next round if, and it's probably not that much of an if, there is Carlos Cuellar, if Aston Villa do get through. So reinforcements to come on top of what we're already seeing, Graham.
I mean, it's a good time this for Villa supporters and Villa fans, and the players that Martin are bringing in later on in the transfer window as well. I always thought it would be late. He'll wait. I think in that way he thinks he can get them probably at a cheaper price, and I don't mean cheaper, you know, in terms of 1 or 2 million. You're just talking about paying probably 9 million for somebody instead of 10 million. But it's a very interesting time for Villa supporters this year.
It's not a bad deal, is it, if you can get £1 million in change?
Yeah.
Villa coming forward again with purpose again here. It's aimed towards Harewood, but it's the lofty Dennis Sim who heads away. They've been linked with an awful lot of players, haven't they, over the last couple of weeks? James Milner at Newcastle, Alan Smith at Newcastle, although Everton seem to be firmer favourites to sign him now. Joe Cole at Chelsea as well. There was a report of a £15 million bid being prepared for him.
I don't want to be unkind to Villa, but at this moment in time, I don't think Joe Cole would come. Do you, in all honesty?
Well, it depends what's on offer at Chelsea, really, doesn't it?
I think you'd have to wait and see, wouldn't he? You know, at the present time, with everything that's happened at Chelsea with Scolari, unless Scolari makes, you know, it obviously he doesn't want you, I think there'll be a lot of Chelsea players will stay and just see what happens.
There's another name to throw into the hat today. One of the Spanish newspapers reporting a Villa interest in Jose Carlos de Arocha Nunes, who's a defender with Real Mallorca, a Portuguese player. And Real Mallorca at the moment are selling an awful lot of players They've sold 5 in the last few weeks. They've just been taken over by an Englishman as well, haven't they?
That makes a pleasant change, doesn't it? I wonder if they're complaining there about foreign owners.
They are. Well, they're certainly complaining about
complaining
about the number of players that are being sold. And I think if Nunes is sold to Aston Villa, there will be even more complaints from the locals. That's somewhere else and something new. Here, Friedel with an easy catch on the edge of his penalty area. So it's been a comfortable night so far for Aston Villa. Those 2 early goals have put them in the box seat, of course, as their UEFA Cup campaign gets underway in earnest in Reykjavik. Forward by Shorey. On the Hall, not quite tall enough to take it in. Valgaardsen. Here's Nielsen. The 2 central defenders are both Danish, Nielsen and Sim, so we would expect a better level of understanding than they showed for the first goal. Sliding challenge by Trugvi Gudmundsson. Won though by Barry, and finds Ashley Young, who once more is in a lot of space when he collects possession on this left-hand side. Barry had continued the run, the ball not quite inch perfect, and it will be a goal kick.
Yeah, a little bit careless, I thought, by Ashley Young when you're looking at the quality of the player now and the level that you're expecting to reach. But, you know, just an overhit, not on personal course, but I think that's the difference. You know, he's got to get that into his game consistently. The accuracy, the almost perfection when you're coming to crossing the ball.
How important will this competition be to Villa this season, would you say?
I think it's very important. I mean, all the clubs want to be playing regular European football, and only a few can. There's talk about the top 4. Let's say if you're not going to break into the top 4, then you do want European football. And Martin O'Neill has made, you know, he's been about that all of the time in the local press. This is a very important tie for them.
Here's Gudmundsson on the right, but he's being marshalled well enough by Nicky Shorey to ensure that that is only a goal kick. 3 Icelandic caps for him. We do apologise for the quality of the pictures, by the way, that you're viewing back home. Our Icelandic hosts providing us with these pictures tonight, but not necessarily the standards we've come to expect. Hopefully it's not spoiling your entertainment too much, especially if you're a Villa fan enjoying this 2-0 lead and a comfortable departure into UEFA Cup football. Davies with a header, solid enough, but picks up Valgaardsen. Yudassen, back to Nielsen. And the drums keep beating on.
Can't complain about the support they're getting. You know, it's most unusual for home side to go 2 down so early, and yet the supporters sticking there behind them. They've certainly done that.
Well, they have an opportunity here to cause a few problems for Villa. The header from Adli Gudnarsson, not directed well enough in the end, but the build-up and the chance enough to give the locals even more heart.
I'll be disappointed with that because he's got a free header and should do much better with that. He's almost let the ball hit his head instead of him coming in and heading the ball and just way over the bar. There's an opportunity there, and you know, the Villa defenders there just have to get that right, and I'm sure that that will happen as the season progresses.
A flick by Harewood. Here's Gudmundsson trying to chase the ball from Sverrisson, was hampered on his way, so another decision goes the way of the home team. Eriksson, here's Sim. Eriksson again. Just searching, looking to test that Villa defence, but well read by Friedel, who came out very positively. Rio Koka. It is Akbon Lahore, running the challenge from Nielsen. Petrov. Won himself out of trouble cleverly enough. Now Shorey. Shorey again. Barry looking to be quickest to it, collects the second ball from Harewood, but Nielsen is there to clear it away. 5, of course, not just the home of UEFA Cup football, but also NFL, live NFL, returning to 5 in the next few weeks. It starts with a preview show on Tuesday, the 2nd of September, and the first live game sees Minnesota Vikings at Green Bay Packers. That's on Monday, the 8th of September. So, all you American football fans, make sure you're tuned in. Shorey with a header. Lawson's clear it. Eriksson. Barry's in. He's certainly playing a committed game tonight, hasn't he, Gareth Barry?
Yeah, there's no doubt about that. I mean, if you know Gareth, you know that will be his game. There's no way. I mean, he may be disappointed, as he is with all this Liverpool talk. But as I've said earlier, that if he stays at the club, don't question his commitment to the cause, because you'll be wrong if you are doing that.
Good flick by Goodnarson, but read and dealt with by Curtis Davies. Do you think Villa fans will forgive and forget? I think there is anything to forgive.
I think the majority will. There'll always be a small percentage, there's no doubt about that, but it will be a small percentage. He had 10 years at the club, he's done excellently, he's done really well. And you know, he had what looked like an opportunity to go to Liverpool, and it still may be there. You know, we just never know. There's this transfer window still open. And the other thing, if he has played now and it puts him out of European football to February, who knows what might happen in the Christmas transfer window. You just don't know.
Yeah, just a reminder that the way the UEFA ruling works is that were Liverpool to come in with an offer that was accepted tomorrow and Gareth Barry moved to Anfield, he would not be able to play in the Champions League until February. If Liverpool were to drop out of the Champions League into the UEFA Cup, he would not be allowed to play in that competition, having played here for Aston Villa. Which kind of makes sense, really, doesn't it? It's Gardner's ball forward, it's Vidarsson who collects. And another purposeful attack here. Sverrisson. Sverrisson again. Trying to get onto his left foot. Nicely slid ball, they've unpicked them here. Goodmanson hits the defender, and then the follow-up from Wilhelmsson is lashed wildly over the crossbar. What an opportunity.
Oh dear, they will regret that. They will definitely regret two great opportunities there to put themselves back into the game. It's a good pass as well, he's not offside. He's held on to it a little bit too long there for my thinking, and then this volley way over the bar from, you know, what he was talking about, 7-8 yards. He just holds on too long there, and he comes in and just whacks at it, and a lack of technique there. But I mean, they've now had 3 opportunities with the header previously to actually put the ball in the net, and if they're not going to do that, then they're letting Villa off.
Just one goal for the home side would create quite a noise in here. Villa looking to hold out. This is Petrov. Gardner. Agbon Lahore. Tiny collect and turn. Eriksson stands in the way. The drummer's good, isn't he? I'd have him in my band.
He certainly keeps playing. Just heard us.
Away by Lawson. It's not gone out. Valgaardson. Here's Goodmanson. He's showing some nice touches of late. It's the other Goodmanson, Matthias Goodmanson this time. He's laid off and attempted to slide it through to Anthony Goodmanson. I'm not sure if he was actually going for goal there or trying to feed. Either way, it didn't come to anything in the end.
I mean, in this last few minutes, FH have really taken charge and they've created opportunities, not as if they haven't caused problems to Villa. I think it's just Villa just ought to just take care a little bit here, because we all think 2-0, we all see how they take it, but how many times have we seen it? You know, in game change, they say that 2-0 is the most dangerous result, because dangerous scoreline, because you just never know which way it's going to turn.
Well, proof positive of that was the first qualifying round that FO played. They were losing here 2-0 to a Luxembourg side, CS Grevenmacher. And they eventually went on to win 3-2. It was quite a turnaround. 5-1 the victory away from home. So they've got goals in them. I'm not suggesting that they can turn around this 2-0 defeat as it stands into a 3-2 victory, but they are capable of causing problems, as they are proving here again. Not for long though. Easily cut out by Ashley Young. Here's Akbon Lahore with a bit of width, and Harewood racing to get there in the middle as well. Just teasing the defender, not teasing him enough, but pieces are picked up. Here's Barry, and then the attempted curl from Ashley Young is well wide from where he wanted it to be.
Yeah. I mean, Akbon Lahore there holds the ball up and just held, and the movement stops for that minute. And I just think it's got to be moving quickly. Just at the present time, I mean, it is very, very early in the season for all of the Villa players, and for some players it takes that little bit longer to get your touch and the feel of the ball before you know, get into the groove. I just feel like Akbon Lahore, at the present time, he isn't in that sharpness that makes him such a threat.
It's Lawson who'll clear long. Headed by Harewood, but there's nobody of Aston Villa behind him. We'll be with Villa again for the second leg of this tie. As Akbon Lahore tries to get himself a position. The second leg, 7:30 in a fortnight. 7:30 we get underway. The game at Villa Park, and earlier that day, action from the match, the second leg of Manchester City against Midtjylland from Denmark, and that gets underway at 3:25. So that's all on Thursday, the 28th of August. A veritable feast of football on 5 again. Both City and Villa will be hoping that they can experiment in those two ties as well. That's a good ball. It was chased hard by Matthias Gudmundsson.
Friedel read it very well there. It's coming inside Shorey as well, and goalkeeper has to make the correct decision there. He did so and collected it quite comfortably. Very experienced goalkeeper, as I said, 37 years of age, very, very fit. I think a very good signing.
Little header on, almost rolled through for Harewood off the head of Akbon Lahore, but not quite. Again, a temporary tangle, which almost allowed Villa in. Here's Nielsen. Cushioned down by Wilhelmsen, but not to the man he wanted. Barry. Eriksson. That was neatly done and appreciated too. Eriksson looking to trouble Villa's defenders here. Vidarsson. Friedel calls and will collect.
I think Villa, more than anything else, have lost the contact between the midfield and the front two. It's breaking down a great deal, so whenever they're having the ball in the midfield, the link between them and the midfield two isn't as it was at the start of the game.
What are they aiming for this season as far as the Premier League's concerned? Is top 4 still beyond them? And they've got a chance here. Akbon Lahore with goal number 3. It was a beauty too, really was, and appreciated again by the manager. A little jiggle of the hips and a dropping of the shoulder, and then a plumb finish, and Villa now surely home and host.
He's got his wriggled off, he's going all the way now, and he keeps them out. Got control, it's a good finish, a good controlled finish. When he starts to go at people and run at people, he's very, very difficult to stop. And I'm sure he'll be very, very pleased with that. And you saw from the touchline, his manager being very happy as well.
Well, he was talking last night, Martin O'Neill, about the UEFA Cup. He felt like a kid at Christmas, and he was looking forward to opening the presents. I think that's his best present so far, that wasn't it? That's his 5-gear chopper bike, that one, wasn't it?
Yeah. As I said, listening to him talk, he places a great part in getting into Europe. That is part and parcel of what this club is about, and ultimately, you know, breaking into that top 4 and getting into the Champions League.
And is that realistic this season, breaking into the top 4?
I don't think so, and this is part of the problem, is that, you know, the expectations can get so high. You've got to believe that. It's all right, but I'm talking from outside. I think that it's going to be very hard for Villa to break into the top 4, but what was it, 6 last season? So, you know, you're a top 6 side in the Premiership. You're that little bit extra. Can you move? Can you keep it? I still think it's going to be very difficult for anybody to break into those the top 4. In fact, if I had to back anybody, depending on how they start the season, it would be Tottenham.
They've lost a few, though, haven't they?
Well, that's the thing as well. And the only thing I would say about they've signed such a lot of players, and sometimes, you know, it can take a little bit of time to settle down.
Well, such high expectations at that club at the start of last season, wasn't there? And it all went horribly wrong. And Keane's gone, Berbatov possibly going. Here's Agbon Lahore, meanwhile, for Villa. Just holding it up. And then delivers. Not quite where he wanted. Vargaardsen heads away. Goodmanson was the target, but Gardner was the man who was picked out. There's Rio Coca. Wiedersen just trailing his shadow at the moment. And muscled off it in the end, Rio Coca. Lawson driving it back to the feet of Ashley Young, who again just poses a real threat here. And looking for something magical that didn't quite provide.
No, it's good. I was talking earlier about how difficult it is for a right back when the winger approaches you with the ball predominantly on his right foot. He's attacking your back foot as he was there all the time. We see he's attacking that left foot, and yet he's got the ability to check it and bring round and use his left foot round it. It's simple, and it's a very effective of way, and fullbacks don't like that, and Ashley Young is very, very good at that.
Here's Rio Coca, wins a throw. Gabriel Agbon Lahore, by the way, who scored that last goal, the 3rd goal of the night so far. 11 goals last season, but 4 of those in the last 6 games. Well, Aston Villa was scoring for fun, weren't they, in the last few games? A lot of 4 and 5s they did score, but even so, he was a striker who was hitting form at the end of the season. And Martin O'Neill will be very impressed with the way he took his goal and the form he's hit so far in this game.
Definitely. I mean, it's 71 goals, which is, I don't know whether it's the highest total in the Premier League or not, but it's certainly close to it. But they conceded 51. So, you know, you can see where Martin will have seen that, and we'll be looking at that. He'll not want to lose the cutting edge that they have up front, but he'll certainly want to get it tighter at the back.
Here's Young, Agbon Lahore, and then looking for a route on the outside, but not finding it. Instead, it's back to Shorey, whose cross tests the goalkeeper Sigurdsson, but not too hard. Simple catch.
Yeah, straight into him, and no movement by the Villa forwards in the box as well. I mean,
long ball downfield, which is just going to be dealt with nicely enough by Nicky Shorey. 3-0, by the way, represents at the moment Aston Villa's biggest ever away win in the UEFA Cup, and it might be getting even better. Stan Collingwood scored a hat-trick against Strong Godset 10 years ago. Do you remember that?
That is a long, long time ago. Stan will remember it. Perhaps.
Petrov hitting it long, chased by Agbon Lahore, who's showing good pace here. Just a little too much on the ball.
As I said earlier, Villa have that release with the pace of Agbon Lahore at the front. If they wish to go direct and wish to hit it in one pass, they can do that.
Ashley Young, he came from an onside position here, did Harewood. The defenders are confused, the goalkeeper stands strong, and that's a very good save. I think you'd have put most of your mortgage on that being goal number 4, but the goalkeeper finally does have something to celebrate on his 34th birthday.
Well, you certainly would. I just wondered about the conviction he had when he looked over the ball, but he got the ball completely under control. You put it down as a good save or a bad miss. I think I have to go for the latter there.
Well, he had an awful lot of time to think about this, didn't he, and decide which way he was going to go. Here's Gudnarsson. This is Rio Coca. Aston Villa sitting pretty on that 3-0 lead. Touch off the Bulgarian to Barry. Lawson, forward, back on Lahore. Well, touched by Rio Coca. The linesman on the far side tells his checkmate that that was an illegal touch, so it will be a free kick for FH. Randy Lerner's here tonight, by the way, the American owner of Aston Villa, we're told, but he's not watching it outside, he's staying inside and watching it on the telly. You come all this way to see a football match and you could have stayed in your front room, couldn't you?
Yeah, it's interesting. I saw him just before the game as well, and you know, he was very pleased how things are going at the club, there's no doubt about that.
He'd not been quite as pleased with this little attack, but Munson right across and headed in by Mathias Gudmundsson. And listen to the roar. FH have their goal. The locals are delighted. Friedel is furious.
Well, they'll not be pleased with that, Villa, but this is a good goal. The pace of the ball, the pace of the cross. He pushes it out there. Gudmundsson puts it in, he's got good pace. I think it might get a deflection, probably off Gardner there, but well headed in at the back post as well. As he comes in there, it's cut them out. He's got the pace on the cross as well. And Mathias Gudmundsson came in at the back post there. It's 3-1, just on the stroke of half-time.
Shades of a former Villa favourite, Andy Gray with the header as well, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Getting the header in despite the flying boots. And the locals have something to chat about in a breezy fashion over their half-time cup of whatever they drink in Iceland at half-time. But Villa very much in control here at the moment, leading by 3-1. Well, 3 goals so far. Gareth Barry was a scorer of the first of those. Aston Villa looking good at 3-1. Maybe a little frustrated and disappointed, relatively speaking, having conceded on the stroke of half-time, but no doubt in control of this game and very much in control of this tie as the second half gets underway. There's still a sliver of sunshine down that far side as well, you can see. Most of the ground now in shade. It's not quite the time of perpetual lightness in Iceland. The middle of June is when it never goes dark, but it will stay light for most of this game. Question is, can Villa switch the lights off for FH early in this second half? Clearance by Nielsen. Here's Rio Coca. Little funnel down that right-hand side for Harewood to chase, and Akbon Lahore is in the middle as well. Just carefully placed by Harewood, but spins away. Here's Ashley Young now, who collects. This is Shorey. Young again, who's had a real high hold time on that left-hand side so far tonight. Barry now just trying to introduce a little more threat to Villa's play, but it's out of play for a throw-in. So what is the mindset at the start of this second half? Graham, is it go for it, all guns blazing, or do you conserve a little with that Premier League opener coming on Sunday?
Well, I think more than anything, Martin will, be looking for them to put this tie, this leg anyhow, to bed. Now, that doesn't mean throwing everything at it, but it certainly, for me, means moving the ball about that little bit quicker. When you are in charge of a game, so comfortably as Villa were for most of the first half, there's a tendency to have what I call an extra touch of the ball. If they can just keep moving it quicker, the chances will come.
I think the drummer's gone home, and here's an opportunity. It's well saved by the goalkeeper, Gunnar Sigurdsson. Chance for him to clear as well. Shorey, and just watch it out of play. What have you made of his performance so far tonight, Nicky Shorey? Not the most testing of evenings, obviously, but new boy to the team.
No, it's not. I mean, it's never an easy thing to come in and step in, and particularly at this stage of the season. you know, you don't necessarily have that feel for the game. The only thing I would say that surprised me a little bit for him, that on a number of occasions he doesn't get tight enough. You know, when the winger is bringing it into him, I think you've got to be tighter, and you've got to dictate which way you want that player to go. And on 2 or 3 occasions, I don't think he's done that.
And a reminder too, a lot of people were posing the question via the texts in the first half why Luke Young and Carlos Quella are not playing tonight. Well, they and Shorey were all signed after the deadline for this particular round of games, but UEFA do allow clubs to register 1 added player, and Villa took the decision to register Shorey at left back. So Villa fans will see those 2 in action, no doubt, in the next round and beyond, but they cannot play tonight, nor indeed in the next leg. Not that Villa are going to miss them too much, the way things are panning out at the moment. There's Gardner, roughly dispossessed, and the home fans are not happy with the decision. It's pantomime season in Iceland.
Yeah, Gardner certainly went over. I mean, it's interesting, isn't it, for Gardner, really, because the chances of him being in the side to play against Manchester City are not very high at all. And therefore, even as a young boy, you've still got to come in. This is your opportunity. You've got to give it everything as well. But, you know, it can sometimes have an adverse effect on players.
This is Gardner, who's just about on the halfway line. Coca. I think Akbon Lahore wanted the ball played back to him, but instead it's played all the way back to Curtis Davis, and this is Friedler, who has to hurry with a clearance, which means it's not maybe as good as he wanted it to be. Petrov foolishly clambering into the challenge. Is that going to earn him a yellow card? Is the referee just going to be happy with a telling off? It is just a telling off. But an opportunity again here for the home side to find something to excite their fans. It's a good distance out. Villa wall not quite back far enough. It's been urged back another couple of inches. Goodmanson, the captain, will hit this, but hits it straight at the wall. It's picked up by Sim. Sturdy challenge that came last off Sverrisson, which means the decision goes Villa's way, much to the discontent of the locals.
I don't particularly like that, but you know, do any supporters of any home team like referees when they give decisions against them?
There you see confirmation of Aston Villa's starting 11 tonight, which thus far has remained unchanged. Brad Friedel in goal. Barry plays, as you will no doubt have already detected, and the reason for the absence of John Carew tonight is because of a slight calf injury, but he is expected to be fit for the weekend in that game against Manchester City. Somehow that ball didn't go out of play. It was Goodmanson. Wiedersen. Wilhelmsson, back to Wiedersen again. It's David Wiedersen who's on that right-hand side. And an easy one for Friedel.
Yeah, came out into the ground. Actually, Wiedersen has played quite a good part in FH's coming back into the game and putting a little bit of pressure on Villa. He's been quite influential in the middle of the pitch there.
This is Wilhelmsson. Wiedersen again now. Eriksson. Touch on a turn by Goodmanson. Sverrisson is the man who is dispossessed, and Villa again can bring it forward, and here comes Gareth Barry, looking to threaten, just threading it through for the chase of Marlon Harewood. Harewood's ball over, but Sigurdsson does well enough to collect on the plunge. Chance for Harewood as well tonight, isn't it? I mean, he made big impressions last season when he came off the bench. Only 1 start in the Premier League, 22 times on as a sub. To get a start here tonight, maybe he has something to prove to his manager.
Well, you certainly have. You know, you're wanting to be a regular player, being selected right from the start, and even on a game like this where you're on top, then the best thing that you can do is really, you know, put yourself out and about, and there's chances for goals for him here, and that can't do you any harm at all.
Here's Goodmanson, who collected it nicely and didn't quite find the finish. 42 caps for his country, very nearly a goal for his club.
You know, Dave, one of the things, if I was Martin Neal, that would disturb me, bearing in mind we said about them conceding 51 goals last year, as much as we say Villa look as if they can get the goals, their defending at times has not been all that clever at all, because FH, if they've been able to finish, this game could be 3-3.
Well, it's a reason for thought for the manager, Martin O'Neill. Villa again are just not looking quite as comfortable as they might here, and Mickey Shorey has to turn it out for a throw. Encouraging signs for the local team. Petrov. Harewood. Trying to touch it round the defender, Tony Nielsen, and might just have clipped his heels, although he claims his innocence.
It was an accident. I think he caught him all right, but purely accidental. But it's still a foul.
This match tonight, by the way, being played in the Icelandic national stadium, the Laugardalsvöll Stadium. And again, apologies to any Icelandic listeners. It's not the home of Hafnarfjo. It's a separate town about 15 kilometres from here, but their stadium is even tinier. Just around 5,000 would have been able to squeeze in had they played it there. So when they do have their bigger games in Europe, they tend to play at this stadium in the Icelandic capital of Reykjavik. Vilhelmsson, and then some tidy passing, which finds Sverrisson no longer in possession as Petrov makes the challenge. It's Ashley Young. This is Petrov. Leo Koker's up there in support, but it's back diagonally towards Gardner. Up for a Villa throw. Harewood. Agbon Lahore. Run away by Goodmanson. There's a tiny little run as well from the other Goodmanson, Matthias Goodmanson, who scored with that header towards the end of the half, and a trip on Sverrisson, which is going to mean a yellow card. Barry's not happy with that decision, but he'll have to take it on the chin. And the knowledge that he has put his side under pressure here too, with a free kick in a very interesting position.
That was a good run by Matthias Goodmanson as well. He has caused a few problems. As I said earlier, I think Shorey has to get a little bit tighter to him when he's out on that right flank. But he's capable on the ball, and of course he's got a very good goal to put FH back into a bit of contention.
Well, another goal here certainly would ignite an excited response. Aston Villa desperately hoping that this all comes to nothing, a little like the previous free kick from slightly further out. Anxious looks from the bench. Sim is standing over this. 3-1, Villa in relative control at 3-2. They might have one or two problems. It's Sim who will hit it right-footed and hits the wall, or rather the disintegrating parts of the wall that was Craig Gardner, and the threat for the moment disappears, and it's a Villa throw it again, and pantomime season in full bloom once more.
Looked a little bit fortunate there for Villa for them to get the throw in.
Here's Agbon Lahore. Harewood given the task of chasing here, and Valgaardson can't keep all of it, and it's a decent shot from a tight angle too from Harewood. And he's given a corner as well. Last touch from the goalkeeper.
Yeah. Sigurdsson got down to that and just got a little touch, so I don't think it would have gone in. But Harewood showing his strength and power there.
There was a definite hand, wasn't there, from the goalkeeper, so it was the right decision. Gareth Barry trotting across to take this. Who fancies a fourth? Aston Villa in control. Goalkeeper came and didn't get two firm fists to the ball too. Barry. Just a little over here, but fortuitously falls for Young. Ashley Young with a ball in. It's a solid header away by Sim. And now the counter-attack might be on again here. How pacey who the Icelandic side proved to be. Gudmundsson. Barry got back well. Young. Agbon Lahore, Harewood in the middle, didn't quite pick him out. Nielsen chops away. And rather tidily, therefore, are clearing the danger again here. They have visibly grown in confidence, haven't they, after that opening 10-minute nightmarish spell when they conceded the 2 goals.
No doubt about it, they look much more comfortable in possession. They've created more problems when going at Aston Villa. And Villa just have to be a little bit careful. I mean, the thing is that they haven't defended well at FH, and that will always give Villa an opportunity. On the other hand, they have come more at Villa, and they look quite neat on occasions.
Plenty of reasons for confidence. That was the foul by Harewood. Plenty of reasons for confidence, certainly domestically, amongst this Icelandic team, because leading the table, they have won the last 4 games in a row as well. So they come into this tie on a high. Eriksson, Vidersen, the drummer's back, and beating out. Not a bad little tune, actually. Sigurdsson away. Barry. Here's Shorey. Vidersen. Back to Eriksson. And now Vidersen again. Chance for some bright spark play here for Villa, but Agbon Lahore was upended. Off he went and down he fell as a result of that challenge.
I think it is at his best when he decides very early to run at people, because, as I say, he has got tremendous pace, as we know. I think it's at times when he's not so certain whether he should get at them or pull it back that you lose a little bit of combination with him.
Here comes the ball in. Lawson was fairly close, but not close enough. His defenders repel the danger temporarily. Harewood. Agbon Lahore just picking a path that finds eventually the feet of Ashley Young, whose ball in is aimed early, and Barry with a header. On top, not underneath.
Well, that was a miss. I think, although it's a little bit high, and he's tried to just deflect it, I think, as it came in for him. As he steps back onto his right foot, Ashley Young looks up, comfortable cross, fullback not getting tight to him. I think Gareth would look to be doing better than that. And you call that a miss for Aston Villa. Chance to put them 4-1 in the lead.
There's Lawson challenging well, taken on the chest by Harewood. Petrov, now Rio Coca. And recovery by Valgardsson. Are going to be making a change very shortly as well. Down below us, Asgeir Gunnar Ásgeirsson is going to be coming on. No determination shown by Rio Coca. Can he be rewarded? That's not the ball that would have done it. Instead, it's another simple catch for Sigurdsson. Here's Dennisson. Well, again, rather unnecessary that, wasn't it?
Yes, they just have that little bit, don't they? They're just so careless when they're in possession of the ball. They lose it so carelessly.
Gardner. Davis. They're up in the air by Nielsen. I'm not sure he knew too much about it, but will have been relieved to see it gliding safely back towards his goalkeeper. That is Ásgeir Gunnar Ásgeirsson, who's getting ready to play his part in this little theatre that is the UEFA Cup tie. between FH and Aston Villa, which Villa dominating at the moment, leading by those 3 goals to 1. But no doubt the Icelandic side have been growing in stature and confidence as the match has gone on, and now have an opportunity which Valgardsson couldn't quite bring under control. The left back had made real good progress there. Here's Barry. Harewood. Back on Lahore on the edge of the penalty area. It's the knees of Vidarsson, which steer it out of play for another corner kick for Aston Villa.
I think if Aston Villa could just get another goal, it would settle the whole thing down. And by then I think Martin could then probably bring on, if he doesn't even know, make 1 or 2 changes so that he's got things sorted out in his own mind then for Sunday, the Manchester City game, because that's an important opening game to the Premiership as well.
Well, it's an odd timing for the substitution, this, isn't it? And David Vidarsson, who's coming off here, I don't think he was too chuffed. He stripped off his captain's armband and threw it down as the change was made, but he looked to have had a fairly prominent position at the heart of the penalty area in preparation for this corner, but now they've made the change. Ásgeirsson is the man who takes his place. A little bit of reorganising being done in the middle of defence at the moment. Lawson with a header, terrific. That is the 4th goal for Aston Villa. A thunderous header from Martin Lawson. He was not going to miss. It barely seems to be worth celebrating on the Villa bench, but they do now lead by 4 goals to 1.
Well, we know from last season, Lawson coming up and getting the goals. I think it was 6 or 7 goals he scored last season. He's very strong in the air, he attacks the ball, and it's a very good header there. The substitution may come in. I mean, we're always taught us, certainly coming into the management game, if you're going to make your substitutions, don't make them when you're defending either a free kick or a corner, because, you know, you've got to have your concentration right, and perhaps FH have paid the full price for that.
Well, Vidarsson was actually standing on the edge of the 6-yard area, wasn't he? And maybe he would have been a man who could have challenged there had he not been substituted. Here's the man who's replaced him, Ásgeirsson, trying to lead this counter-attack here. Gudnason. Here's Mattias Gudmundsson, who's off on his troubles, but not for long. Sturdy challenge and the clearance by Larsson. Villa are going to make their change as well very shortly. Mustafa Salifau, the Togo international, will be coming on. Lawson not distracted by the run there of Davies to make the header away. Here's Ásgeirsson being urged to have a go. Vilhelmsson, time to pick his spot, but it's well over.
Well, they come back there again and got a shot in. And you can always go overboard on these things, a forward, but I'd be a little bit concerned if I was Martin about this back 4 of theirs. I'm pretty certain, in fact, I'm absolutely certain it won't be the one that starts their Premiership campaign, but at times they've given their opponents far too many opportunities.
Stilian Petrov, the Bulgarian, the former Celtic man who goes off, and Mustafa Salifau takes his place. Just 4 appearances last year, didn't he? And all of those from the substitutes bench. Taking his place in the heart of midfield. What can we expect from him today and in the coming weeks and months, do you think?
Well, I think it's like everything, isn't it? He'll want to be making his mark, because you say it was just 4 appearances coming off the bench last season, and he's going to have to do better this year to get a regular place in the team.
Away by Lawson. Here's Young, but the dangling foot of Eiríksson steering it back towards Gudmundsson. Ásgeirsson. Gudmundsson's continued the run. It's a little untidy. There was hope there for Gudmundsson, who came flying in. There were half claims certainly from the terraces for a penalty kick, but he tripped over the ball more than anything else, didn't he?
He did. I think just there, I think Shorey thought the ball was out of play and was prepared to let it go, and it wasn't the case. He kept it in, and a little bit of problem there for Villa.
Deflection on that cross steers it back towards Brad Friedel. $8,686 inside this Lånedalsvård Stadium tonight. About 100 of those are Aston Villa supporters who've made the trip from Birmingham. It's what the UEFA Cup's all about, isn't it? Certainly at this time of year. Faraway places you've never been to, exotic teams you've never heard of, and in some cases you can't even pronounce.
Are we at one of those places?
I think we are. Film like FH Hafnarfjo. If you say that backwards, it does actually say Aston Villa leading by 4-0. Here's Barry. Aston Villa with that strike in this second half, assuming their extremely comfortable position again in the game. Salifau and Leo Koka dealt with Trygve Gudmundsson. Stoke City fans of a certain age might remember him from 3 or 4 years ago. He didn't actually play for Stoke. He had a trial there, didn't quite make the breakthrough, so you'd have to be a particular fanatic to remember him. Nielsen with a free kick, hit long. Flicked on again. Sure, he should have it dealt with and does. Safely back to Friedel. Played in this competition, of course, last year with Blackburn, who had an untimely exit against Larissa, if memory serves. Before the actual group stages. One more round to play for Aston Villa in this UEFA Cup this year. Before they do make the group stages, it's a very complicated setup, isn't it, the UEFA Cup?
Trying to follow it now, it really is, isn't it? You know, at one stage it used to be you were either in a competition or you weren't. But now trying to follow it all the way through is not easy.
There's Ashley Young. The corner flag, but last off a defender, so it's a decision that goes Villa's way. The final of this competition, by the way, is in Turkey this year. Here's Ashley Young. He'll be coming off very shortly as well. Ashley Young, our information from the bench. Wayne Routledge will replace him. Salifau. Here's Agbon Lahore, but not before Sim can get in and half clear away. Wilhelmsson. Helgaardsen. Opportunity presenting itself here. Ausgersen will go for goal, and he's not far away. Friedel's fingertips might just have saved the day for Villa.
Yeah, Villa allowed him the space to keep coming at them, and he picked his spot out, and Friedel's save conceded the corner. But once again, it's something that Villa will have to tighten up on in terms of their defensive performance.
It wasn't the slightest of touches, but here comes the corner kick. Barry's there. Committed once more to head away. Drilled back into him by Gudmundsson. It's going to be time for Villa to make that change now as well. Wayne Routledge coming on. Ashley Young, the man who's coming off. And he'll have been pleased with his involvement tonight.
Yes, he will. Yeah, he's had an easy game for him because the fullback hasn't really given him any problems. Ashley's been able to dictate to him all of the time, so he'll be quite pleased with that. Good run out for him.
Randy Lerner is watching on. He was watching the telly in the first half, but has decided to come and see the real thing in the second. John Carew was the man alongside him, one of those alongside him. Gudnason collecting again from Wilhelmsen. Davis's long ball, and again the central defenders are getting in each other's way, but Dennis Sim just did enough to clear back towards the halfway line and beyond now as Wilhelmsen takes it forward threateningly. Play on, says the referee. Routledge. The Selifau just caught on his heels a little, and Gudmundsson can pick it up. Here's Wilhelmsen. Gudmundsson continued the run, steadies himself, swirls it right. Eiríksson tries to measure it accurately enough, but just ahead from Routledge, taking it away from the imminent danger. Valgardsson swung over threateningly. Lawson clears. Here's Eiríksson. And Gareth Barry in the way at the first attempt, and then the ball played in at the second. Might have stopped a few hearts momentarily, but Gudmundsson fell. He was not pushed.
No. Routledge has come on playing on the right flank, and Rio Coker's gone inside now. And Gareth Barry's gone onto the left flank. But Routledge is a boy that's got to resurrect his career. He's got an opportunity here. And these sort of games, these little appearances here when the team are on top, very important for him to take full advantage of it.
Here's Shorey just looking to tidy up, and he does. That's the view from this particular position. It's not a bad one, is it? You do come to Iceland for the spectacular scenery. You certainly don't come here for a cheap night out. Well, that's nice and tidy. The finish was anything but.
Yeah, pulled it back well on his left foot, but then tried to bend it in at the far post, but bended it probably at the far end of the stadium instead.
Going to make a couple of changes again here are the Icelanders. Gudmundur Sivarsson. He's the man with number 14 on his shorts. And he's replacing the right back, Höskuldur Eiríksson, who hasn't made a particularly good case for the defence tonight, the lawyer by trade. And the other change will be up front, where Jonas Gardarsson is coming on, 35 years of age, to replace Atli Gudnason, who goes off. Villa are going to make their change as well. Another change here. Nathan Delfonso rather is going to be coming on here shortly. Not just yet. Sivarsson with his first touch, which is a header out of play to give Aston Villa a throw in. Akbon Lahore is the man who's going to give way, so that Nathan Delfonso can have his little spell in the spotlight. He's a youngster who's come through the academy, isn't he? He's only elevated to the first team squad last February. Competition like this, in which you'd expect he might get his best opportunities this season.
I mean, I will say for Villa's academy, they've done very well, as Martin O'Neill is trying to, put a team together that's going to press to hopefully over the next couple of years get into that top four. He's still not turned his back on giving youngsters that have come through the academy an opportunity, and that's good.
There's another youngster on the bench as well, in the shape of Nathan Baker, 18 years of age, central defender. I wonder if we might see him in this forthcoming season. Certainly not tonight, because Villa have now made all 3 substitutions. So settle back and enjoy. What you see now is what you get, as Villa leading by 4 goals to 1, eager to pursue further glories. Gardner, little ball inside. Routledge taking it past the outstretched leg of Valgardsson, and does get the ball past the similarly dangled leg of Nielsen, but then trips over, and the free kick is given.
He looked capable of there. Pity he didn't get round there, because that's, far better than losing the free kick.
Here's Barry. Carrying it threateningly in there, but just clipped away from him. Clearance by Friedel. Free kick for the foul on Martin Lawson. Don't forget, you can see the second leg of this tie here on 5 in a couple of weeks from now. Earlier that day, we'll be showing the second leg of Manchester City against Midtjylland in Denmark. That's a 3:25 kick-off, 28th of August, and then later that evening, programme that starts at 7:30, Aston Villa in action against FH for the second time. Keeper game, did Sigurdsson, got just enough on it, but it's Salifau that it falls to. Here's Barry. He's bowled it out because of an injury here to Dennis Sim. He's got a bit of experience as Dennis Sim. He is Danish, as we've mentioned, and he has played for both Aarhus and Odense in the Danish Super League. I think we've seen too much from him tonight, though, that we'll have Premier League managers queuing up with a checkbook.
I wouldn't have thought so. If they do, then they really have got enough money to throw away. But I mean, it really is just running this out, isn't it? And the second leg, where you know, coming back, you've got a 4-1 league. That will help Martin in terms of you know, the Premiership games that they have to play. To take home a 4-1 lead here, then I'm certain he can look at the team that he selects for the second leg and feel that he's not going to put too much pressure on what would be seen as his normal first team.
Well, the game after that second leg is at home to Liverpool, so he's not going to play a first team that night, is he?
No, this result will, you know, very much help him do that as well.
Next up for Villa, Manchester City on Sunday. Then they've got Stoke away, newly promoted Stoke, and then the second leg of this tie, followed by that home game against Liverpool. It's a mouth-watering time of the year, isn't it, really?
Once the Premiership starts again, you know, and you get those the qualifying games for the Champions League, etc., then, you know, it all starts off again, and there's no doubt about it, that there is that excitement to it all the time, because one can never be certain exactly what is going to happen.
Here's Sim, having recovered from that earlier knock. Sverrisson carries away. Sivarsson, Gudmundur Sivarsson on that far side. Routledge battling away and tidily bringing it away in the end too. And a chance to launch something here. He was just being held by Bjorn Sverrisson, and that has given a yellow card to the Icelandic midfielder.
A couple of occasions now, Routledge has got away. He's defended very well there, brought the ball away, been prepared to be confident to run at people, and been fouled on each occasion. I feel a little bit of sympathy for the lad really there, because obviously, you know, he's wanting to impress the manager. He knows himself that he's got to take full advantage of what is an opportunity now to get his career back on track.
Confirmation of the booking there. Free kick, lifted high. Lawson's there again to challenge, but not tellingly this time. Well, what will he have made tonight, Martin O'Neill, of all he's seen? Everything that he would have expected, really, isn't it?
Yes, I mean, they'll know about the team, not a great deal, but they will know enough to know what they have to do and do. It's just a little bit disconcerting to start with, in the fact that you know, you've got to be absolutely certain that your players are right for the game. And he's had this Gareth Barry thing, and you know, we've seen Lawson is the captain this time, so there's always one or two things that you can't be certain of, and you just hope that they go the right way, and I think that they have. I think Gareth Barry has been very involved, and he's shown his commitment to the cause here.
And Capello, who, to remind you, is here tonight, will have been impressed too, won't he, with the way he's applied himself to the job tonight. It's a threatening moment here, which Friedel deals with easily enough.
I mean, that's what he'll be looking for as well, there's no doubt about it. Not just Gareth, but one or two other lads. Agbonlahor, who we know is in the under-21 squad, but we'll be keeping an eye on him. And it would just be interesting, you know, just to come out and see this game and see the one or two players.
Fabio Capello, one of the few men who can enjoy a good night out and afford a good night out in Iceland, no doubt. There's Friedel. Wilhelmsson, lifted forward by Ausgersen. Sure, he has it covered and again does the job efficiently of just making sure the threat doesn't come to anything more than that, with a clearance towards the touchline. Sim sliding it forward, picked up though by Delfonso. Barry still industrious, trying to get involved and in the faces of the Icelandic players. This is Nielsen. Ausgersen, just a little heavy touch which almost took it away from him and into the path of Rio Koka. Valgardsson. Gudmundsson. And here's Nielsen. Graham, by the way, has promised to take us out to one special bar tonight in the heart of Reykjavik, which is known as the Ice Bar, because it has a constant temperature of minus 30 degrees inside, and the drinks are served in ice cups. And they give you cokes when you go in, because it is that cold. It's not my idea of a good night out, that, Graham.
Well, we'll not go then.
It'll cost you less if we don't. This is Sverrisson, Bjorn Sverrisson. Just looking to inject a little vitality back into the game now, FH. They had their moment just before half-time. When they got that goal, it was a good goal too. Mattias Gudmundsson, the scorer, with a brave header with the boots flying. After a very tasty build-up, but Villa for the rest of the night have been totally dominant and look to be again here. Delfonso with the ball across. Rolled into the arms of Sigurdsson.
Yeah, I think there that Howard was a bit disappointed that it wasn't pulled back for him. Cut the keeper out completely there.
Siversen labouring down that right-hand side. Gardarsson has to turn it back to Valgardsson. Back left it behind for just a moment, but recollects. Routledge, well, he saw the run of Barry on that left-hand side, which you'd have to say none of the defenders did, because he was left alone. Chipped towards Howard, falls for Routledge. Good save by the keeper. On the stretch. Gudmundsson. Well, again, they're looking a little more adventurous now. And away by Nicky Shorik. Well, here was the chance.
It's a very good save, isn't it? Got down well, got a good hand to it as well. And Routledge hit it firmly, hit it accurately. Couldn't ask a lot more from him.
The locals still banging their drums, still trying to add a little to the atmosphere here tonight. I think it will be their last European adventure for this season anyway. They can get back to concentrating on matters domestic after the small matter of going to Villa Park in a couple of weeks. Championship beckons for FH, so no doubt we will see them in Europe again next year. It's taken on by Wilhelmsson. It's a good solid challenge in the end by Gardner. Again, swift freak from Villa gives them possession. Here comes Delfonso down the middle and overhits. No one can chase.
Game running out really now, certainly from Villa's point of view. They've just got to keep their concentration, which on occasions I have to say has been lacking. Having said that, Curtis Davies, first game back after a horrific injury, you know, bound to be a little ring rusty, and I think that's been part of the problem in the centre of the defence with the opportunities that FH have had.
I know Pat Nevin in the studio has, so there's a couple of Liverpool fans monitoring the style of Gareth Barry tonight. So I know Pat Nevin in the studio does have a theory that you should be allowed a joker to play a couple of times a season. As the ball is driven in by Goodmanson, but well wide. You play a couple of jokers throughout the season when you're in a game that's drifting away, a game like this, when Villa know they've got it won, when FH know they're going to lose, it's 4-1, you play your joker and end the game early.
It's not a bad the thing is, isn't it? I mean, FH are going to be playing for their pride in a fortnight's time. They go, if the scoreline stays as it is at the moment, they're going to go there 4-1 down. So, you know, you're looking for a real test of their attitude and application.
And they know they're going to be against a weakened Villa team as well, aren't they? That gives them a little bit of encouragement too.
But Martin O'Neill will be pleased with this result. You've got to be, isn't it? You know, this type of game, they can be tricky on occasions. The previous two games against the Dents were not straightforward. This one's been much easier for them.
Well, they just scraped through, really, didn't they? 2-2 away from home, and the solitary Ashley Young goal in the home tie at Villa Park, which steered them through. Looks like being far more comfortable now they have reached the UEFA Cup at this stage anyway. One more round to battle through after this to confirm their place in the group stages. Time ticking away. Shorey's throw. Johansson. Free kick for Villa. We'd love to see a few more frills and thrills at the end of this game, wouldn't we? Can they produce something stunning here?
Well, just luck, isn't it, as they have done, just to run it out and as they come into the added-on time.
Shorey down that left flank, plays it for Delfonso. Clattering challenge from Sim that puts it out for a throw. The UEFA official is down below us, about to tell us how many minutes of stoppage time to be played. At the end of this, it's 3 minutes minimum. And Villa looking for the juggler again here. Here's Barry, rolls into position. He's still going here. Well, he was looking for glory, wasn't he?
Just there, he took it in and realised he was blocked out, pulled it back, hopefully looking for somebody he could roll it to. Couldn't get it through there. And chance went.
Delfonso. Little pocket of defenders around him. Shorey clips it in. The referee said that I think it's gone out of play, so it will be a throw. Well, this was the run. Delfonso. It's Harewood. Delfonso's got chasing after it again, but the defender Nielsen knew that he had enough to reach his goalkeeper Sigurdsson. Here's Barry. By the way, Graham, you did promise an attempt at the pronunciation of the team at some point tonight.
Can't remember the promise, but you did say you would ask me.
FH Hafnarfjo.
FH Hafnarfjo.
In the wrong places in Reykjavik, that brings about a slap across the cheek, that pronunciation. Here's Valgaardsen. Just petering out now, isn't it? And right from the early stages when Villa took those early strikes, Gareth Barry with an almost apologetic finish after some woeful defending, and then Ashley Young with a very good finish, making it 2-0. Agbonlahor with a classy strike to make it 3-0 right on half-time. Matthias Gudmundsson got one back, which briefly, in this volcanic island, threatened the stadium with eruption. The noise was immense, but it was never going to be anything to really threaten Villa, and so it has proved in this second half. Martin Lawson with a thumped header, making it 4-1, and Villa looking for a fifth here as well. Here comes Routledge. Barry's offside. Martin O'Neill knows it's job done, but he's still a little frustrated at the lack of opportunity there, no doubt.
You know, when you do get into a game which is relatively easy for you, as I've said before, you can sometimes become a bit careless and lose concentration on things. I think on occasions Villa have done that, but all in all, he's got to be pleased with this. I mean, it's a result that puts the tie away, really, you know, never mind just this first leg.
They came to Iceland, they turned up the heat, and Villa have won here by 4 goals to 1. Gareth Barry, very much the man in the headlines, starting it all off. Hopefully, we'll be hearing from him right after this break.